how Sanwo-Olu committed electoral fraud by voting without PVC, Viva Roads. Gbadebo Rhodes Viva, the Labour Party governorship candidate in Lagos State, in the recently concluded gubernatorial election, has said that Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu should be disqualified and subsequently sent to 1 year imprisonment for allegedly voting on the election day without a permanent voter's card in the 2023 governorship election. The gubernatorial candidate, in a tweet on his Twitter handle, alleged that the governor had or never had his PVC and he voted without same on the day of the election, calling for legal action against Sanwo-Olu. He tweeted, "According to Electoral Act, Sanwo-Olu must be convicted and sent to 1 year imprisonment and 100,000 naira fine for committing electoral fraud and malpractice." The Labour Party candidate had earlier hosted a Twitter space on Monday where our correspondent attended, where he said that it was tabled in the Lagos Election Tribunal that the governor voted without a PVC and thus committed an offence which the Electoral Act placed a punishment of 1 year imprisonment or a fine of 100,000 naira or both. He said he voted without a PVC. It was tabled today. On Monday, all eyes are on the judiciary to ensure that this fraud never go unpunished, he has said. You know what I think? I think that in spite of the fact that, yes, a lot of different petitions are at the courts and the tribunals to assess and really go back on the election results, I also think it's another way to judge the judiciary and judge the judicial system and say, okay, great, we have this issue and people have their opinions, but the way the courts carry themselves and the tribunals go around and go about the process also shows where the integrity lie, because more than just a reclaim for their mandates by the petitioners, it also shows, okay, in the face of pressure or when it comes to justice and fairness and integrity, the number one body and system, the judicial system that is meant to uphold this and be an example of, will basically be tested, and we will see whether these people, the courts, the judges, the senior advocates, how they react, how they go about the situation. Obviously, with INEC not complying, because INEC has not been giving the results and giving out full evidences as well as documents requested, it exposes a lot of people. This, and to be honest, yes, So the Labour Party governor, for Lagos State, he can say what he wants. A lot of people can come and say, this is the right thing, this is what the courts should do, this is that. But this is basically an expose, and if Nigerians really, want to pay attention and really record, because I think sometimes we know things are wrong, but we just tend to forget. And so when something worse happens, we treat it like a single situation, rather than something that has been ongoing, and for the level that it would be at, we should not be surprised. My point is, it actually exposes the different parties at play. It exposes the INEC, first of all, that is the electoral, that is the independent, electoral body that is meant to oversee the election process and the campaigns and the results, collation, and obviously the broadcast of that. They have to show integrity. The lawyers, the courts, the tribunal, the whole judicial system and its players need to also show the integrity. Political parties, well, for example, in this case, APC, that have won, but obviously in courts, the argument is that they did not win, or it's not their votes are not valid. It also exposes them and how they went on with the process without confirmation if they really won, but because they said you won, then you just go with it. It exposes that as well. It also exposes, the constitution is weak weak points and weak links, because you go ahead to inaugurate somebody who has not been confirmed the winner, or the people have doubts, or you can't even prove, right? The system can't even prove. INEC especially is the body that we're depending on, because it's the information, the votes that we get that would either validate or go against, the claims that are being made and petitions being made by other political parties and aspirants. But whatever happens, it should just be an eye-opener to see. And because this is the people that are going to be involved with this, and also the president of the country, how he carries himself, how the process is carried out. To be honest, that's literally the most important thing. This boy has arrived again. I think people take things so personally. Please look for a place to say Lagos is not the place. But again, obviously, logically, it doesn't make sense. How can you not have a voter's card and you vote? Everyone's meant to have a voter's card. So, for him, it's abuse of power. Whatever you want to argue, him not having a voter's card, it's not something we're gonna raise our heads and raise our hands and say, oh my days, how can he not do that? We know what people in the government are capable of. I mean, Sanwo-Olu literally, in his campaign, was running helter-skelter, was running to this place. If it's a youth group, if he's talking to a group of Nigerians, I mean, especially in Lagos State, he really became that guy, and we saw him in a different light that we've never seen before. Well, obviously, it's the same for all, political aspirants running for a position. They then become, the man of the people, for the people, by the people, around the people, on top of the people, everywhere, and it just reeks of desperation anyways. Well, last governor has shown himself we don't need lawbreakers in prison loading. But now it's like you coming out to say as a result, then he needs to be arrested and he needs to be fined and he needs to be, he needs to be arrested, fined, and put in prison. And I'm like, come on now. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.